pledge allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I thank you all. All right, first item of business is our resolution number 60-16 to pay our bills in the amount of $1,307,479.98. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Mr. Humphrey,
Aye.
Mr. Ubel,
Yes.
Mr. Proud.
Yay. Connie, item 2, please.
Recommendation of Judy Eschman, Director of the Department of Job and Family Services, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Raybolt, County Administrator, to execute an extension of lease agreement which exercises the first extension option of the lease agreement by and between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and Ron Juergens, care of Stronghold Self-Storage, Cincinnati, Ohio, pursuant to Article 3 of the original lease agreement previously ratified by the Board of Clermont County Commissioners on June 19, 2013, for the lease of 17,300 square feet of office space located at 756 Old State Route 74, Cincinnati, Ohio, in Union Township, relative to the operation of an employment and job training center in Clermont County, Ohio, by the Clermont County Department of Job and Family Services, Ohio Means Jobs, Clermont County Division, with said extension of lease agreement effective for the period of July 1, 2016 through June 30, 2017, with all of the terms and conditions set forth in the original lease agreement to remain in full force and effect, and contingent upon the issuance and receipt of a purchase order therefore.
Is there a motion then to execute the referenced extension of lease agreement with the contingency as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ubel,
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey,
Aye.
Mr. Proud.
Yay. And item 3, please.
Recommendation of Judy Eschman, Director of the Department of Job and Family Services, with the concurrence of Stephen H. Raybolt, County Administrator, to execute Amendment Number 1 to the agreement by and between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and Language Line Services Incorporated, Monterey, California, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on June 15, 2015, for the provision of interpreter services to customers of the Department of Job and Family Services that do not speak the English language, which represents the addition of on-site interpretation services at the rates as outlined in Attachment A2 entitled On-Site Interpretation Charges, attached thereto and made a part thereof, effective for the period of March the 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017, with all other terms and conditions of the original agreement to remain in full force and effect.
I don't know if you all have ever seen the list of languages. It's like this one. I didn't know there were that many in the world.
Yeah, there's like 20 different ones on there. Yeah.
Is there a motion then to execute Amendment Number 1 to the referenced agreement as recommended?
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Humphrey,
Aye.
Mr. Ubel,
Yes.
Mr. Proud.
Yay. Thanks, Connie. Thank you. Lyle, item 4, please.
Good morning, I'm Lyle Bloom, Director with the Water Resource Department. Item 4 is recommendation to authorize the release of maintenance bonds that provided surety for the installation of water main extensions to serve the following subdivisions and to accept said water main extensions into the county water works system pursuant to the Clermont County Water Resource Department rules and regulations. And the first is the Woodbury Glen subdivision, Section 3B1 in Batavia Township, and the bond amount is $1,000. And the last is Twin Gates subdivision, Section 2B and 3, Batavia Township. The bond amount is $5,600.
Is there a motion then to authorize release of the referenced maintenance bond and to accept the extensions into our county system as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ubel,
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey,
Aye.
Mr. Proud.
Yay. And 5, please.
Item number 5 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 61-16, resolving 1, to accept, approve, and ratify the detailed plans, specifications, estimates of cost and financing, and tentative assessments for proposed improvements to the county waterworks system within the Clermont County Water Resources Department as set forth in Exhibit A and designated as project number 6401-60132 and described as the construction of the Plum Street Water Petition Project located in Goshen Township. And 2, to determine that special assessments are to be levied and collected to pay a portion of the cost of the project in the form of a basic benefit assessment and an improvement assessment as outlined in Exhibit B, or general obligation bonds or notes issued in anticipation thereof, and with a portion of the cost paid as a contribution by the Clermont County Water Resources Department, Waterworks System Capital Improvement Fund. And 3, to authorize notice to be sent to property classified as current agricultural use valuation, or CAUV, agriculturally used land or land located in a conservation program affected by the Waterworks System improvements pursuant to and in compliance with Chapter 6103 of the Ohio Revised Code. So this is a small, we haven't done a water petition project in a long time, it seems like. We received a petition to extend water to these residents January 27th, 2015. We had a public involvement meeting May 4th of 2015. There's 4 properties that would be assessed as a part of this project. 3 of the property owners have indicated they're in support of the project. 1 has indicated they're opposed. However, that property also has a limited tap-in agreement, so they're already served by water through an easement. But as part of the limited tap-in agreement, they agree to be assessed if in the future an assessment project would ever move forward. So they're kind of bought into this project by virtue of that limited tap-in agreement. Total assessments with system capacity fees and meter installation fees for those property owners, for the 3 property owners that don't currently have water, is estimated at $12,440 each. And then the 1 property that already has water, since they already have the meter and have paid capacity fees, theirs is $9,660.
Are any of the properties CAUV currently?
I believe that's why we had to,
That's what I was
we've
asking.
got the extra step in this, so we have to send notice to those properties. They can apply for deferment.
Deferment, yeah.
Yes.
For my benefit, why would it be different for a CAUV versus another property?
They can defer that as long as it stays in the CAUV district. They don't have to pay the assessment. They may pay a portion of it if they connect, but it's really to protect the large farms so that they aren't burdened with, in some cases could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, because of the amount of road frontage or acreage. So they wouldn't have to pay that until it would, say, be developed. Then that deferment would be due.
That deferment goes with the property.
Correct. So if the property transfers, then the new owner would assume that deferment, or the assessment for that matter.
There's just one.
Is there a motion then to adopt resolution number 61-16 as recommended?
So moved.
I will second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Pratt?
Yay. 6, please.
Item number 6 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 62-16, resolving to certify delinquent utility charges in the amount of $15,322.68 for sewer charges, $13,931.79 for water charges, and $11,968.21 for miscellaneous utility charges to the county auditor for placement on the real property tax list and duplicate of the county of Clermont County as a lien against the property served by such connection as identified in Exhibit A, pursuant to and compliance with sections 6103.02 and 6117.02 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Oh, you don't look like Suki.
No, Suki, I think, is on vacation.
Is there a motion then to adopt resolution number 62-16 as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Pratt?
Yay. And 7?
I figured while I'm up here, I'll just read them all. So. Item 7 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 63-16, resolving to certify delinquent utility charges in the amounts of $178 for sewer charges, $47.47 for water charges, and $135 for miscellaneous utility charges, and $36.28 for penalty charges to the Clermont County Auditor for placement on the real property tax list and duplicate of Clermont County as a lien against the property served by such connection as identified in Exhibit A, pursuant to and in compliance with section 6103.02 and 6117.02 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Is there a motion to adopt resolution number 63-16 as recommended?
So moved.
I will second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. And 8, please.
Item 8 is a recommendation to award the bid for the State Route 132, State Route 48, and State Route 28 water main replacement project located in Goshen Township pursuant to the plans and specifications to Howe Contractors out of Fort Wright, Kentucky, for the lowest and best bid received on March 24th, 2016, for a total amount not to exceed $1,658,402, and to execute the contract relative thereto pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein, and award of bid therefore, and contingent upon the release of the required purchase order.
Is there a motion then to make the award of bid to Howe Contractors and to execute the contract with the contingency as recommended?
So moved.
I hear stereo.
That was Mr. Ubel.
It's his turn, so he moved.
And did Ed second?
Not
And I
yet.
second.
No, he did.
Mr. Ubel?
Got out
Missed
of
something here?
I know.
Sorry.
No, you both said so moved at the same
Oh, I'm
time.
sorry. I was listening for the radio. I was-
No, no, so it says like stereo.
Mr.
I'll
Ubel?
second, or I'll make the motion.
You made it. You made
I
the
made the
motion.
motion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. And 9, please.
Item 9 is a recommendation to accept the following grant of water easements with rights of reentry for repair and replacement that will be granted and conveyed to Clermont County for utility purposes of constructing, operating, maintaining, repairing, replacing, removing, or reinstalling water utility lines, pumping equipment, and all incidental fixtures required for the transportation of water in, on, under, and across the property of the grantors. This is for the Wards Corner Road East Water Main Replacement Project located in Miami Township. And further to authorize the county auditor to remit payment to the grantors in the amounts outlined and as indicated on the settlement sheets as compensation for the permanent easements and right-of-ways and/or repairs, and to remit payment in the amount of $216 payable to J. Robert True, the county treasurer, for the recording fees. The first is Jerome Wald for property at 719 Wards Corner. Next is Jeanette Trujillo for property at 733 Wards Corner. The next is Aubrey and Pamela Moore for property at 739 Wards Corner. Next, Brian and Rita McCormick for property at 741 Wards Corner. The next is John Kurtz and Karen Karak for property at 749 Wards Corner. The last is Mark and Connie Hopkins for property at 787 Wards Corner. And this is 6 of the 16 easements that we need for the project.
Is there a motion then to accept the reference grants of water easements and to authorize our county auditor to, remit payment for compensation and to make payment to our county treasurer's office for recording fees as recommended?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yeah.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. And 10, please.
Item 10 is a recommendation to accept the following grants of sewer easements with rights of reentry for repair and replacement that will be granted and conveyed to Clermont County for utility purposes of constructing, operating, maintaining, repairing, replacing, removing, or reinstalling sewer utility lines, pumping equipment, manholes, and all incidental fixtures required for the transportation of sewage in, on, under, and across the property of the grantors. And this is for the Bethel Area Sewer Replacement Project located in the village of Bethel. And further to authorize the county auditor to remit payment to the grantors in the amounts outlined and as indicated on the settlement sheets as compensation for the permanent easements and right-of-way and/or repairs relative thereto, and to remit payment in the amount of $152 payable to J. Robert True, the county treasurer, for the recording fees. And the first is the village of Bethel for property on Ash Street, and the next is the Bethel Feed and Supply Incorporated for property at 528 West Plain Street, another from Bethel Feed and Supply Incorporated for property at 544 West Plain Street. And the last is the Reeves Family Properties LLC for property on West Plain Street. And this is 7 of the 31 easements that are needed for the project.
And we want to thank those who donated easements as well. Is there a motion then to accept the reference grants of sewer easements and to authorize the auditor to make payments for compensation as recommended and to make payment to a county treasurer for the recording fee as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yeah, you sure you don't want to do Sherry's too?
I'll pass.
Okay.
Ready. So,
Thanks, Sean. Hey, Sherry, item 11, please.
Good morning, Sherry Smart, Community and Economic Development. I have a recommendation of Andy Kutka, Director, Department of Community and Economic Development, with the concurrence of Stephen Rabel, County Administrator, to execute a contract for minor public improvement projects by and between the Board of Commissioners and Buckeye Power Cells, located in Westchester, Ohio, for the provision of services for project number 2015-02.5, relative to the backup generator replacement project at Union Township Fire Department Station 49, located at 718 Old State Route 74, in concert with the Clermont County Community Development Block Grant Program for fiscal year 2015, and in accordance with the scope of services as identified in Exhibit A, attached thereto and made a part thereof in an amount not to exceed $41,408, with said services to be completed within 98 days of contractor's receipt of signed contract, and notice to proceed from Clermont County Community and Economic Development pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein, and contingent upon release of the purchase order required.
Is there a motion then to execute the contract for minor public improvement projects with Powder Sales Company, Inc., with the contingency as recommended?
So moved.
I will second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. And 12, please.
I have a recommendation of Andy Kutka, Director, Department of Community and Economic Development, with concurrence from Stephen H. Raybolt, County Administrator, to execute a contract for minor public improvement projects by and between the Board of Commissioners and Buckeye Power Cells, located in Westchester, Ohio, for the provision of services for project number 2015-02.5, relative to the backup generator replacement at Union Township Fire Department Station 48, located on Ohio Pike, in concert with the Clermont County Community Development Block Grant Program for fiscal year 2015, in accordance with the scope of services as identified in Exhibit A, attached thereto and made a part thereof in an amount not to exceed $41,935, with said services to be completed within 98 days of contractor's receipt of signed contract and notice to proceed from Community and Economic Development pursuant to and compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein, and contingent upon release of the purchase order.
Is there a motion then to execute the contract for minor public improvement projects, again with Buckeye Power Sales Company, Inc., with the contingency as recommended?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Yes.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. Thanks, Sherry.
Thank you.
13, please.
Item 13 is a recommendation from John Cascaden, Director of the Department of Public Safety Services, my concurrence to award the bid and execute the contract for services for HVAC maintenance and repair services for HVAC equipment located at Clermont County tower sites, pursuant to the specifications to Peck, Hannaford, and Briggs, Cincinnati, Ohio, for the lowest and best bid received on 3/31/16, an annual cost of $6,375 for a total amount of a 36-month term, not to exceed $19,125, effective upon execution, with the option to renew stated contract for services for an additional 3 years and 1-year increments thereafter.
John's probably out celebrating since today's his birthday.
Yeah, today is his birthday, yes.
Is there a motion then to make the award of bid and execute the contract as recommended?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. And 14, please.
Item 14 is a recommendation from Sheriff Rodenberg with my concurrence to execute amendment number 1 to the contract for services by and between the Board of County Commissioners and Catering by Marlins, doing business as CBM Managed Services, Sioux Falls, North Dakota, for the inmate food services for the inmates of the Clermont County Adult and Juvenile Detention Facilities, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on 4/23/14. This is to extend the term, therefore, for 2 additional years effective for the period of 6/9/2016 through 6/8 of 2018. This is pursuant to Article 15 of the stated contract for services, with the cost per meal as stated therein, which reflects a 2.5% increase based on a consumer price index for the Midwest region. Food away from home, for the provisions of 12 months in concert with Article 16 of the stated contract services, All the terms and conditions and provisions of the original contract remain in full force and effect unless otherwise modified by this amendment, and it's contingent upon a receipt of a performance bond and/or extension of the current performance bond. 2, to revise certificate of liability insurance, and 3, to release of the required purchase orders in concert with this requisition.
See, this is the group that we outsourced to a couple of years ago.
Yes, sir.
So apparently they've worked out all the kinks.
Yes, they have. Yes.
Good. Is there a motion then to approve the amendment number 1 to the contract for services with the contingency as recommended?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. And 15, please.
Item 15 is a recommendation of Sheriff Rodenberg with my concurrence to authorize Commissioner Proud, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to accept the federal equitable sharing agreements and certifications by and among the federal government, U.S. Department of Justice, Asset Forfeiture and Money Laundering Section, Washington, D.C., the U.S. Department of Treasury, Executive Officer, Asset Forfeiture, the Clermont County Sheriff, and the Board of County Commissioners for the Sheriff's Office and Task Force, Clermont County Drug Unit, for period ending 12/31/15, resolving to certify the County Sheriff Board of County Commissioners are in compliance with the provisions of the Justice and/or Treasury Guides during the reporting period in compliance with the National Code of Professional Conduct for Asset Forfeiture, pursuant to and compliance with terms and conditions set forth therein.
Is there a motion then to accept the federal equitable sharing agreements and certifications as recommended?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. And 16, please.
Good morning, Yvonne Smith,
Hey, Yvonne.
Benefit Plan Coordinator. It is my recommendation with the concurrence of Thomas Eigel, Assistant County Administrator, to authorize Robert L. Proud, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute the application for group insurance and administrative agreement policy number 01016881 between Clermont County Commissioners and Symetra Life Insurance Company of Washington, to provide $25,000 in county-paid life insurance coverage, accidental death and dismemberment coverage, and voluntary life insurance for all full-time eligible employees and their dependents, and long-term disability insurance for full-time employees with less than 5 years of service under OPERS, effective 1/1/2016, and includes annual renewals with rate guaranteed through 2018 pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein.
Is there a motion then to execute the reference application for group insurance and administrative agreement as recommended?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
And 17, please.
Is recommendation with the concurrence of Thomas Eigel, Assistant County Administrator, to authorize Robert L. Proud, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to approve the application for stop-loss insurance coverage between the Clermont County Board of County Commissioners and Sun Life Assurance Company of Canada, a subsidiary of Sun Life Financial of Wesley Hills, Massachusetts. His billing address is P.O. Box 72477184, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to provide stop-loss coverage for the county's medical plan effective 1/1/2016 through 12/31/2016, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein.
Is there a motion then to approve the application for the stop-loss insurance coverage as recommended?
So moved.
I will second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. And 18, please.
Ron, do you just want to mention for people who don't understand what stop loss is, that we're self-insured and why we need that?
Sure. Stop loss is an actual insurance product that prevents the county from being on the hook, basically, for high dollar claims. So we have a $200,000 stop loss, which means that because we're fully insured, the county would pay for the first $200,000 for a medical claim, but anything above and beyond that $200,000 would be covered by an insurance company.
Thank you.
All right, 18, please.
It is my recommendation, with the concurrence of Thomas Igo, County Administrator, to, Assistant County Administrator, to, I didn't mean to give you a promotion.
Some might not consider that a promotion, but
To execute an extension of the agreement for healthcare consulting services by and between the Board of County Commissioners, Clermont County, Ohio, and Horan Associates of Cincinnati, Ohio, for the continuation of professional consulting services relative to Clermont County's Employee Benefits Program, in accordance with their proposal for healthcare consulting services for Clermont County previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on 5/21/2014 and extended on 7/8 of 2015 for an additional 12-month period, effective 6/1/2016 through 5/31 of 2017, for a total amount not to exceed $75,000, which represents the election of the second and final 12-month term extension, therefore, pursuant to and in compliance with Article 2A of the aforestated agreement entitled Term and Termination with all other terms and conditions, therefore to remain in full force and effect.
so then after this last one, then we're going back out to do requests for proposals.
Yes, yes, this is the last of the extensions.
Is there a motion then to execute the extension of agreement for healthcare consulting services as recommended?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. I mean, they've done an excellent job for us.
They have, yeah, and we're, the plan is very healthy right now, so we're pleased.
Good. Thank you. Item 19, please.
Item 19 is our budget items for this week. And you note that OMB has allowed me to do this one this week by myself.
Yes, I'm scared.
There's only 2 items this week.
That's
We have a budget transfer of funds from the Southwest Ohio Regional Training Center, regular salary, to the Southwest Ohio Regional Training Center to overtime for $450. And the cash advance of funds for fiscal year 2016, we have sewer revenue advances out to debt service for North Afton Sewer and advance in from the enterprise fund for $32,700.
Is there a motion then to approve the budget transfers and the cash advance as recommended?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. We have an add-on?
Sir, we have 2 add-ons which need to wait until Mr. Mager gives his presentation. And
Oh,
we have a
okay.
request for executive session before that.
All
Hey,
right.
Steve, a quick question on that last one, the sewer revenue.
Yeah.
Does that have to do with the industrial park? Are we expanding that? Is that, no, separate?
It has to do with an CAUV, and it says repay upon change in use, right underneath it.
Okay.
Right, There's been a request for an executive session
When
pursuant to
because
section
it's
121.22
CAUV,
G1
and it's farm.
of the Ohio Revised Code, and this is to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of one or more public employees. Is there a motion to go into executive session under that section for those reasons?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. We'll be right back. All right, let the record show the board came out of executive session and has resumed its regular session. Again, no decisions made. And I know we are now going to have our presentation from our,
Mr. Proud,
I'm sorry.
we'll take one action first.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. We have one add-on.
Action first so that we can
I'm sorry.
move that along before.
Sure, absolutely.
Second. Mr. Mager. We have an add-on for a personal action in the Water Resources Department. We have James Williams, a WRD Operator 1, administrative leave, non-disciplinary action effective 5/7/2016.
Is there a motion then to approve the personal action as recommended?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Proud?
Yay.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for reminding me about that one. And now we're going to have presentation by our county engineer, Pat Monger, This is regards to the 2015 annual report of roads, bridges, and culverts, and pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code. Pat, it's yours.
Thank you, Bob. All right, well, we've got a slightly different format in our annual report. I think the fact that, Bob, this is your last year of seeing the annual, that's just a sheer coincidence. We didn't do anything special for you.
I appreciate
You
it.
know, we know how much you love these annual report presentations.
Hey,
but,
I used to, several times I've actually gone with the county engineer.
Oh, yeah, and reviewed the roads and bridges. Again, we thought we'd take an opportunity this year to kind of put it maybe in a little more user-friendly format instead of the volumes of data. We have all those volumes, all those report lists, if you will, the full inventories of the roads and the conditions, and the full inventories of the bridges and the culverts. We have those on file at my office. We just thought for the average person, they might not be so much interested in sifting through reams and reams of paper, and this is our effort to sort of summarize our efforts. You know, and first off, I really want to thank my staff. They've continued to do an excellent job, and not only making preparations for the work, but actually seeing the work through. We had a very big year for the office. I would say the summary of this past year's work was the amount of outside grant money that we received. We received between state and federal funds. We received over $5 million. The engineer's office, in just real brief, operates on about a $10 million budget. Those two sources are mainly from, or those funds are derived from gas tax and registration. So as you can see in this report that we did, as you get into the first page, talks about our capital improvements, and we sort of summarize those in 5 different major areas. Our annual county resurfacing program, our landslide program, our bridge and our culvert program, and then our major road construction program, which this past year consisted of 2 projects, Branch Hill Guinea and Filliger Road, and then our 5th component, which is kind of a major component, is our snow and ice effort. So as you can see there, we spent a little over $9 million on that capital. So there'd be virtually no way to do that without the successful leveraging of funds that we were able to do. And you'll see as we get into the report some of the projects. The bridge program was heavily subsidized with outside grants and those kinds of programs. But that pie chart is obviously a representation of where the money went, what types of projects were completed with those funds. On the snow and ice, we spent around. There's a breakout later in the report, but roughly we spent about $500,000 on salt itself, and we made 15 different call outs. So it was even though it was fairly mild, we still were it's pretty much what we average. 12 to 18 call outs is kind of the average call outs for the year. Sometimes you'll get a dusting, and it's more than what they maybe forecasted, but we're seeing problems out there, so we go ahead and treat the roads accordingly. Again, the other pie chart at the bottom right corner of the first page kind of shows where our highway maintenance efforts were focused on in terms of man hours. So we've got kind of major categories with the highway operation. It ranges from fixing potholes to berming to ditching and guardrail and the like. So it kind of breaks out where those man hours were spent, maintaining the roads. Obviously, the engineer's office primary focus is a maintenance operation. Since the TID really has come to be the major expansion of the highways, the focus is that's the TID's kind of focus. Obviously, the engineer's office has a major role not only funding but implementation of those projects. But I think, you know, what you see coming out of the engineer's office is not that we don't do road projects, but they're more on the maintenance side of road projects. And then as you get into the report, we talked about our road condition. We have just a little under officially 384.4 miles of county road to maintain. And when it says average age of road, that's a little misleading, but it's the last, when you average the last time that the roads have been resurfaced, that's what that is. So we try to keep our recycling cycle on a 15-year cycle, and so we're doing, you know, we're doing pretty good. It's not to say, you know, we have some roads that are beyond 15, but again, it's based on several different factors: the traffic, the overall condition of the road, and so on and so forth. But we're pretty happy to report that our you know, our conditions are pretty good on our roads. Same sort of thing with the bridge condition, overall condition. We have a little over 400 bridges, 402 bridges. Our average rating is a 7. You know, a 10 would be, or a 9 would be outstanding. Kind of a new bridge would be rated a 9, and something that we would have to close would be anything under, I think, a 3, 2 or 3. We have to close it.
Pat,
Yep.
question
Mhm.
on that.
Yep.
Is there anywhere in this report that actually tells how much money the $5 license tag fee that we put on strictly for bridges?
I don't have that detailed in this year's report. That's something that we're going to do for next year. When I was looking at this, we're trying to make the annual report as informative as possible. We didn't really go into a revenue breakdown with this year's report, but I plan to in the future.
I'm just thinking
Talk
about
more about that.
meeting's sake too. If they could actually maybe have, if you can get that number to them.
It's
I just
around
wanted to see when
800,000.
We put
It's
that $5
yeah.
on years ago.
It's around $800,000.
Like this is
Yeah.
what we've been able to do.
Right.
We had the most load restricted bridges in the state.
Yeah.
Now, because of that, this is where we are.
We're in pretty good shape. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Pat, on this, going
Sure.
back to the road conditions.
Yep.
The average condition was 64 out of 100. It just, I mean, I don't know what the rankings are, but that sounds like it's in bad shape, but maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the problem that we get when you get into rating these roads is that you might have a section, maybe a quarter-mile section that's in bad shape, and so then the whole road gets, currently the way we do that. So it's a little misleading in that regard. I look at the average, like that average age, you know, the last time, you know, that as more of a factor that, you know, we still got to keep, we still have a work at it. And actually, when you see 2016, what we're doing in 2016, we're making, you know, great strides and headways to maintain that resurfacing frequency to the levels that we need to. Because over the last 4 or 5 years, we've kind of slipped, and we've gone just from a budget perspective. We haven't been able to put enough money, or in my opinion, enough money towards resurfacing, so we've slipped a few years. But what we've done this year and what we plan to do next year are going to make some great strides.
Let me ask a different question.
Yep.
If you try to resurface after 15 years, what's the average condition rating on a road that needs to be resurfaced? Is it like 30?
It's probably in the 20s. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So a brand-new resurfaced road, it's 100.
pretty much, yeah, yeah. Mhm. And sort of finishing out on the condition reporting, we do the same thing with culverts. We have 2,100 culverts. They vary from a 12-inch cross culvert to just shy of 10 foot, because anything larger than 10 foot in either diameter and span is considered to be a bridge. So we have some 9 foot, 10-inch culverts that are culverts, not bridges. And again, we have some concerns there. We have to, we can't overlook those large culverts. That's a big part of our operation as well. So from an overall road condition, culvert, bridges, could it be better? Yes, but it's clearly better than it was in the early 90s when a lot of those funds were added to help that effort. And again, if you kind of and so the next couple of pages are just really details of that capital improvement pie chart that was on page 2. And the focus I would want to bring out on the 2015 bridge program is obviously we spent $4.2 million on bridges, which is a huge number considering our overall budget's $9-10 million. That wouldn't be possible had it not been for the leveraging of state and local funds. So we brought over $3 million in for bridge program, and so a lot of those monies that you see, were outside grant money. So when you add everything all together, it represents about a 70-30% match. So we only had to use local 30% local funds to leverage that $4.2 million. So, about $1 million in local money got us over $3 million in grant, so that we were able to spend the $4 million on those bridges. So again, resources are tight, but I think the thing that everybody needs to appreciate, and I certainly appreciate it, the efforts that our staff in writing these grants, because they're very competitive, and you have to have a good track record. You have to do what you say when you're supposed to. Otherwise, those folks that award the grant monies, they want to see those money spent timely. So $3 million in grant money for the bridges is a big year for us. Moving on to the landslide program. This is actually a lot of this was derived from the FEMA, and the way the FEMA program works is they provide 75%, and then locally the Ohio FEMA, Ohio Emergency Management, they provide 12.5 of the 25%, so half of the local match, and we were able to apply for issue 2 for the remaining half. So actually the bulk of this, the only money that we spent, the very first project, Wolf Pen, if you remember back the way, it was an emergency slide, and we applied and we received a 75% grant. So we paid about $75,000 for that project, but the $1.3 million, it was all state and federal funds. So that whole program virtually, it's 95% funded outside sources, and we only had to provide 5%. So I wish we could do more, but it's kind of good news, bad news. The good news is there's state and federal money. The bad news is usually something bad happens if FEMA's in the county. But we were able to get a lot of these landslides repaired through the FEMA source.
Now, on the shingles roof, I know we did a cooperative thing too with Brown County, didn't we?
That was not with this project, but some previous stuff.
Previous shingles
Yeah,
roofs?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Bob, you've been around for. The resurfacing program is pretty much 100% local this year. There are avenues to get federal or state grants. This past year, we pretty much put those opportunities in our bridge kind of category. But as you'll see in 2016, this year we have a lot of OPWC projects that are going to repair our roads. So while this is 100% local, a little over $1.5 million, again, we were able to do that because we were able to get so much outside money elsewhere.
How about how's that going with the other jurisdictions, jumping in on the bid for resurfacing?
It's sort of evolved. I think this is the 4th or 5th year. Some jurisdictions are, going out on their own. and some are still collaborating with the county. So sort of a mixed bag.
You got a strict deadline.
Yes, yes, we've had, that was sort of a problem that we had a couple years ago. And so some are able to, live up to the deadline and some aren't. So we have to, in order to maintain the integrity of the group, we have to have deadlines, and if they can make it, great. If they can't, we have to move on. So, and of course, the last detail or the last blow up was our road improvements. We had two major projects, Branch Hill Guinea. Actually, that project is still going on. We're wrapping that up here as we speak. And then the other project was the Filliger Road. We had a collaborative effort with the Village of Batavia on that project. But again, those about $1 million of grant money was brought in to support those two projects, and that was roughly about an 80-20 match on those projects. So when you add up the money that we got for bridges and culverts and landslides and road projects, it was over $5 million, which allowed us to do all the work that we were able to do.
Wonder when Branch Hill Guinea will be reopened?
We are hoping to get it open before Memorial Day. Yeah, so here in a few weeks. And then the next section of the report is really the highway operations, and that kind of goes into details of the man hours. That's kind of the backup for that one pie chart. It shows you the man hours and potholes. It's kind of fun to. Amazing to think how many potholes and the amount of work and effort that's spent keeping potholes, but it's pretty impressive. It's the bulk of our effort down there in the highway operation.
About how people can report potholes, if that's special.
Yes, we just the call-in number is oh geez, I'm having a brain lock here. Pothole, yeah, that's what it should be. Yeah, 732-8875 is our main number. So, but it goes through everything from the man hours spent on mowing and trimming the highways, make sure that the trees don't cover over the signs, and the culvert replacements and the guardrail and the striping and just all the effort that the highway crew puts forth every year. It's a pretty.
Explain to me, what is a boom?
It's the
That arm?
It's the arm that reaches out, and it's called an A boom. It's the I think it's the manufacturer. It's one of the major companies is, I think it's called Alamo, and so their operation or their piece of equipment that they sell, they've dubbed it the A boom. So it allows you to reach out over the guardrail or back over the ditch, and basically cut back the honeysuckle that grows rampant
Looks
in
like
Clermont
a
County.
blade off the tractor.
And it does look like that. There you go. So that effort obviously is a major effort. I mean, obviously snow and ice is probably the most visible operation that the highway crew does, and we spent a little over $600,000 this year on that total snow and ice operation. And then towards the back on page 19, you'll see kind of the projected work that we have for 2016. And again, we have a pretty robust bridge program, a little over about 1.3 million, 6, 8, 10, about 14, 15 bridges and culverts that we're replacing. Continue to deal with the landslides that we have in Clermont County. As you get south down along the Ohio River, it seems like we have slides occurring pretty regular on a regular basis. So about $400,000 projected to spend on landslides this year. And then the biggie is the resurfacing program, and where we're projected to spend just about $4.5 million, which is about 4 times what we normally. And again, that's only available because we're leveraging local funds with state funds. So it'll be a big year for resurfacing to try to catch up on some of those roads where we've fallen behind. I don't think old 32 has a, it may be like a 20-year, because I know a few years back when we did James Saul's, and we did a full reclamation of that project, that had never been resurfaced, and that was built in, what, in the early 80s? So that was,
80,
yeah.
was it 81?
Yeah, early 80s. So that was going on 30 years, you know. So some of the roads, I mean, the good news is some of these roads that are engineered and built right to begin with proper drainage and everything else, they can last quite a long time. But if you have driven Old 32, you will not be surprised to hear that we're doing a major effort on that, and we're doing it from the beginning to the end, which is, I don't know how many miles that is, but it's,
you know, you're going from Batavia Village.
yes. So from the bottom of the hill there in Batavia.
Very, very bottom?
Yeah.
Okay, where
Yeah.
it's actually Fifth Street?
Well, not about as you come up the hill, there's a sign
County
there.
Maintenance starts.
Right, where county maintenance sign starts, from there all the way out to the Brown County line. So, yeah,
Good.
it's our marquee project. So,
Years ago, maybe your predecessor, Chapel Road, you had an experiment where one lane was resurfaced with
recycled tires.
rubber,
Yeah.
and the other one was regular asphalt. 50, what's it, 501 or?
Probably 404 back
404,
then.
but-
Yeah, close. Yeah.
Never ever heard results on which one was the best, or?
I don't know that there was anything definitive, you know, that came out of that. Like you said, it was ahead of my time. I do remember hearing about that, but there was no. I know I'm not sure who did the evaluation, or if there was ever a report that was filed, but I don't remember anything definitive, you know, coming out of that.
Recycle in place, the stuff we did there on, what's the road there in front of UC Clermont?
Yeah, on James Saul's. That is a fantastic operation, and the whole process was it's not inexpensive, but when you compare that process to a traditional hauling it out, we saved about 40%.
So it actually was less.
Versus traditional. But you have to have the right type of, you know, project. Most of the roads that we have in Clermont County, they don't require that full repair and replacement, if you will. That the resurfacing, you know, is, you know, kind of.
How many contractors in town have that equipment?
Now, a lot.
So it's becoming.
Yes, yes, and the cost is coming down, and we're seeing that as a viable option more and more. So,
Makes sense.
yeah.
Well, environmentally, it's better too.
Yes, you're not hauling off things, and you're keeping a lot of that, you know, material in place and recycling it. So yeah, it's a kind of a green. They haven't given it a green, you know, the full green nomenclature, but it's a very popular type of construction, and we use it as much as anybody. So yeah. So in summary, you know, big year for 15, but probably as big or bigger year in 16. So
I know
lots of orange barrels, and hopefully folks are patient with us. And
Absolutely.
And,
Well, it shows progress.
right.
You do that. A lot of people don't understand that. You see a lot of orange barrels, it means something's happening.
Right.
So Pat, you did 608,000 for snow removal and salt.
Yes.
What would it typically be, and what do you budget for 2017, 16, 17?
We budget around $750 a year for the whole operation. That includes overtime, you know, the fuel component, the salt component. Specifically for salt, I think it's around $450,000 to $500,000 for salt, which is, I think, about what we use. So it was a pretty average year. Of course, we always have stock carryover, you know, from the year before. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And lastly, you spent $144 $4,000 on replaced outdated equipment?
Yes.
That sounds pretty inexpensive.
It was very low year. It was a very low year. This year, will be back up to where we normally are, which is around 600,000 to 700,000. Because just replacing one snow truck is 160 to 175. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. It was a lean year, and the reason why that was is because we did have such a big grant year, and even though the grants they do require local match, so we had to move some money around to provide the local match.
Whatever happened, I know the Attorney General's office was joining some other states and going
On the salt?
after some salt.
We did get, that was all settled.
Salt on
We
salt.
did get, we were part of that, I don't know if it's class action or what exactly how it was characterized, but and they made a payment last fall, and it was kind of a proportionate, you got a piece of I think we got around 40,000 returned out of that settlement. So we did receive our fair share as it was determined by the Attorney General.
Good.
Yeah.
I did laugh whenever you had the picture of the sign, welcome to Clermont. And whenever we first did that, there was controversy, why is it county engineers? And I said, well, I want to make sure that if something's wrong with the road, they know who to call.
That's right.
Better than putting Bob Proud on there.
That's
with-
right.
With your cell number.
That's right, so it's like they know, not, hey, this is the county engineers,
Probably-
and you
probably
call
like
them.
Exactly, yeah. Call Bob. Got a pothole, call Bob. So,
Well, that's awesome.
thank you. All righty.
All right,
Pat,
thanks.
let me give this to you. I'll give you a call later, but
Okay.
we can discuss it.
Sure.
You know what I'm talking about?
Good artwork here.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was doing while you were talking.
There you go.
All right, I do believe we have some add-ons as a result.
That's correct.
Okay.
First up, we have recommendation of Pat Monger, County Engineer, with my concurrence, to accept the 2015 Annual Report of Clermont County Roads, Bridges, and Culverts for the County of Clermont, received March 30th, 2016, pursuant to Section 5543.02 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Is there a motion then to approve the county engineer's 2015 annual report as recommended?
So moved?
Second?
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. And we have one more?
Yes, sir. Recommendation of Pat Monger, County Engineer, with my concurrence, to approve the request to advertise for bids for project number RS-04-16 relative to the 2016 road resurfacing program Phase 1, located in various townships pursuant to specifications therefore, and authorize the clerk of the board to place legal notice. General circulation on 5/19, with bids to be received till 2 p.m. local time on Thursday, 6/2/16, in the Office of Board of County Commissioners, where they will be publicly opened and read aloud shortly thereafter.
Is there a motion then to approve the request to advertise for bids for the reference project and authorize our clerk to put the legal notice in the newspaper of general circulation as recommended?
So moved.
I will second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. Any other add-ons?
Yeah, Judy?
No, we do not.
All right, we'll take a 5-minute recess for our minutes to be prepared. The record show the board came out of recess and has rejoined our regular session. And gentlemen, we have the minutes from today's session in front of us. And when you're all ready, entertain a motion to approve them.
I'll
I
make
move we
a,
approved.
yep, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve today's minutes from May 11th.
Second?
Time flies.
Both begin with M. Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. With no other business, is there a motion to adjourn today's session?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Proud?
Yay. Thank you all. God bless.